All right, welcome everyone. I will go ahead and rename my profile so that I'm not Common Ground Research Networks. I am Tamsin Gilbert. What we're going to do today is we'll just let everyone get into the Zoom room here. And then what we might do is just go around and introduce ourselves first so that we can all be familiar with each other. And then I will run through CG Scholar and how to connect during the conference, and then more specifically your role as an emerging scholar throughout the days of the conference. So just let me check that we've got no one else here in the waiting room. Not that I can see. It's 10:02, so I can go ahead and get started. So my name is Tamsin Gilbert. I'm Research Network Producer with Common Ground Research Networks, as well as that I am also the conference producer for the Food Studies Research Network. So I'm in charge of organizing this conference. I'll pass it over to you, Kayla, to introduce yourself, and then maybe to Jillian as well.
Hi, I'm Kayla Ryan. I am an assistant conference producer at Common Ground Research Network. So I've been helping out with the conference. So yeah.
Hi, I'm Jillian Solomon. I'm a support assistant at Common Ground as well. I try to answer most people's questions. So if you ever have a question, probably talk to me sometime, but yeah.
All right. And so what I'm going to do is I will just call your names. Please correct me if I pronounce it incorrectly. I apologize in advance if I do. Yeah, please correct me because I do want to know the right pronunciation. And I will pick in no particular order, just the order of rectangle boxes that appeared here in Zoom. So Katrina, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, yes, and you pronounced my name correctly. Thank you. It gets mispronounced sometimes. I'm Katrina Kibler, and I am going to be presenting on my work on food security in Togo, West Africa. My research focuses on Indigenous food security and climate justice, decolonization, and intersectional feminism. Thanks,
Katrina. And one thing, nice to meet you. Well, nice to put a face to a name. One thing I was going to say is you've reminded me is that as you introduce yourself, if you wouldn't mind just confirming your attendance as in-person or online emerging scholar. We just want to make sure. We did ask you that back when we sent the original email, but we just want to make sure that everyone's still on the same page. So I know your answer, Katrina, so no worries there. Is it Unwu?
Yep, it's Unu. You were close.
I'm sorry.
That's fine. Yes, so my name is Unu Yu. I she, her pronouns, and I'm a PhD candidate at the Theater, Dance, and Performance Studies program at UCSB. And I study the theater and performance of early modern England and early colonial America, or Proto-America, of Jamestown and Virginia colonies. And I am interested in food and the body involved in acts or ways of all activities related to food and how that plays into or imply about the emergent and evolving notions of race or nation or the empire in the late 16th to 17th centuries. So that's my research, and I am an in-person emerging scholar.
Thank you. I see. So I have a feeling we're going to have some sort of overlapping interest here already. So Ina. Oh, sorry, you're not on. Yep, there you are.
That's right. Thank you. So my name is Ina Jessen, and I'm an art historian in Hamburg in Germany. And my research bases on food as art material, so artistic material. So it's transformation and production processes and the politics on food as art material. And I'm a curator here in the Deichtorhallen in Hamburg as well. And I will be an in-person, scholar. Yeah.
Fantastic. Looking forward to seeing you there. Palby?
Yeah, hi. My name is Bobby, and I'm currently a PhD student at the University of British Columbia. My research explores food and wine tourism, and currently my work is focusing on diasporic and BIPOC communities involved in the wine industries in Canada and the US. And I'll be attending in person.
Okay, great. Sinyi, forgive me if
Yes.
that's incorrect.
Yes, it's correct. I also go by Zoe.
Okay, Zoe.
Hi, I'm a master's student at NYU, New York University, and I'm from Shanghai, China. And my focus is nutrition and also traditional Chinese medicine. So I'm interested in exploring how to integrate traditional medicine into a clinical nutrition setting, and also to explore the culture of food as medicine in Chinese cuisine.
Great, nice to meet you.
Me too.
Also,
Also, I'll be an in-person.
oh, thank you. Thanks for clarifying. Thank you. Vaishali?
Hi, good evening. I'm a little bit under the weather right now, so kindly excuse.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I am a student at University of Delhi, India, and I'm currently working on my PhD, which is looking at the idea of hunger in Indian literature. So that is what I'm exploring for my PhD. And for the conference, I think I'll be presenting in an online mode because the US government is not giving us visas anytime soon. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to go ahead and share my screen, which always takes a second. One second, and maybe you can give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen. And I'm just going to run through some different elements of CG Scholar and how to engage in the platform, both for online only emerging scholars and for in-person blended emerging scholars. But then talk a little bit more specifically about emerging scholars and their role in the conference. So we also should clarify, on the first Tuesday of every month in central Illinois, where I live, there is a hurricane or tornado siren that seems to be going off right now. So if you can hear it in the background, I apologize. So this is cgscholar.com. There are many ways to get to the conference through here, but the best thing to do is if you're here and you're not logged in, you can go ahead and log in with your details in the top right there. Once you're logged in, you can click here to go on your profile. If at any time you're not logged in, I'll actually just show you. It'll see the top right there. It'll ask you to log in from this page. So let's just use my details to log in there. It will take you straight to your page here. Yeah, so you'll notice that it has your name in the top right, golden sort of yellow golden bar. I highly recommend update your profile here by clicking profile. You can go ahead and do that here down in account settings as well. This is because in the event schedule, your name is actually hyperlinked to this profile. So if someone's interested in you, interested in your work, they'll be sent to this page. There'll be a button for them to add you as a peer to make a connection there. And so if you haven't already, please update your profile. You'll have your communities listed here. I have a lot of communities, obviously, because I'm the conference producer for a number of different conferences, but you will have food studies. So I will find food studies now. If I can, maybe I'm not, oh no, I have to finish loading. I should have searched in the top. But here's the Food Studies Research Network community page. You can see first of all here in the activity stream, the people that have joined the community, but also in updates. There you can see all the updated activities and information about the research network there. You can also click here to get to the conference webpage, which I'm hoping, yep, it did. This is the conference webpage here, which you probably all have seen. If you would like to make an update, you're welcome to do so. You can also make an update by clicking on the community page here and make a personal update. So you could say, my proposal is titled this, and put the hyperlink to your presenter page, which I'm going to show you in a minute. And then every one of your peers will see that update. To get to the conference microsite, you can do that a number of different ways. So you can do that by clicking this button here on the website that says CG Scholar Event Microsite. But you can also go here down to your events in the banner, and you should see it listed there. Sorry, my internet's a little slow today. It's listed there. You'll see your proposal number if you have a proposal, your registration number. Mine's listed as a pay later. This is all a bit of an experiment. And then you can manage your proposal here. Another way to get there is by clicking on event and just going ahead and clicking on the event microsite page there. I'll just go back for 1 second. This manage proposal page will take you to this tab here, which is what we call the presenter page. The presenter page is the page where you will upload your digital media at the bottom. If you're an online only presenter, emerging scholar, then digital media is required for your presentation. All online only themed paper presentations are asynchronous, meaning there is no live Zoom time for these sessions. They rely on digital media as the mode of presentation. So for online only presenters, this digital media upload is required. I highly recommend you upload more than one piece of digital media. So you can upload your PowerPoint presentation, you could upload a PDF. You can also paste the embed code for a YouTube video or a Vimeo video if you've recorded your presentation that way. Or in the file uploads, you could upload an MP4 video of your file. This is the digital media that the other delegates will see when the discussion boards go online, when they turn on the day before the conference. And so there's that. The other thing is, if you are an in-person blended presenter, we also, it's not required, but we highly recommend you upload the digital media as well, because it means that the online only delegates who are not in the rooms there in New York will be able to also see your presentation and ask questions in the discussion board. I'll show you how to use the discussion boards in a minute. It's going to be a little vague because the discussion boards are not on yet. They don't turn on until the day before the conference. But basically, if someone asks you a question in the discussion board, you'll get an email notifying you of that too. So this is sort of that information there. So then your registration information will be there. I'll go to presentations. I'll show you how this following tab works in a minute once we get over to the schedule. But you can see that all of the emerging scholars presenter pages are listed here under featured. Katrina, I'm going to use yours as an example. So we'll click on Katrina here and we can see that it takes us to her profile page, which has already uploaded a photo. Thank you, Katrina, as well as her information. I can go ahead and click here and I can add her as one of my peers. And so you're going to get a peer request from me now to confirm. If you don't have to. And there's that there. So we can see that it's a paper presentation and a theme session. And if I want to read more about this, I can go ahead and click on Katrina's presentation. And this at the bottom is where her digital media will appear. If I want to click on the discussion board and ask a question, I can do that from this page here as well. I can also follow her presentation, which if I do that, it will appear in my following tab here. So this following tab is really, all these other tabs, every other person has the same organization of presentations as you, but this following one is one that you can customize. So say you're interested specifically in presentations related to, I can't think of anything now, I'm useless, agriculture, food access, then you can go through all the presentations by theme, by feature presentations, by theme, by type, and alphabetically, and you can go ahead and follow the presentations that you're interested in. It's just sort of an easy, quick way to access those. So featured, I mentioned are already the emerging scholars presentations. By theme, you would have chosen the theme for your presentation when you submitted the proposal. So we have a number of different themes. Say specifically you're interested in the special focus. You can go down and you can look at all of those presentations that are linked to Imagining the Edible and take a look at them there. Another way that we organize them is by type. So say, for example, I'm only interested in poster sessions. I can scroll down and find the posters and see all the poster sessions listed there. And then alphabetical is alphabetical. I'm going to skip special events for a minute because we'll go through that in a second. And I'm going to go over here to the event schedule. We do have, I should mention here, this is the first year that we've also done this conference as bilingual. So we do have some presentations in Spanish. So if you're interested, or if you speak Spanish or you're interested in those Spanish language sessions, you can just use this tab here to switch back and forth between the event schedule for the Spanish language or English language programs. On the first day, we have the 21st of October, which is not the first day. The conference starts on the 23rd, but we're having these pre-conference online events on the Friday, the 21st, for all the online only delegates. So we have this blended conference training session, which will be basically what I'm doing now, but open to everyone who is attending the conference to learn how to use the platform and how to use the discussion boards and things like that. Kayla usually runs that one. And then after that, I would encourage you all to attend this, even if you are an in-person. It's an online think and drink welcome reception. And even if you are an in-person or online only delegate, it's nice to attend this session just to meet other people. It's an informal session, and what we do is a little bit like we started off here. We go around, we introduce ourselves, we talk a little bit about what's brought us to the conference and why we're here. But in addition to that, we also put the links to everyone's presenter pages when they're introducing themselves in the chat. And that means that other people in the session can also go ahead and follow you if they're interested in your work. Like I said, it's informal. It's a nice way to meet other people, especially if you're online only, but even if you're blended in person, it's still nice to attend. So that when you click on the title here, the Zoom links for those will be in this description. And actually, all Zoom links for the conference will be the meeting link that you're on right now. We only have one Zoom link to keep it a little bit easier. So if you just save this one somewhere, it will be for all the online only sessions. Okay, then we get into these sessions here. The conference opening and all plenary sessions for the conference will be live online via Zoom using the link like I just mentioned. Let's use David's plenary as an example here. We will record that session. So say like you, Vishali, you're in India, you might not want to wake up at the time. I'm not sure of the time difference. We will upload the video of David's plenary session as digital media here to the presentation, to that presentation page, and you could ask David questions after the session, during the conference, and he would go ahead and get an email about that because he's assigned to the session. Sorry, my computer's moving a little slowly. I'll first go ahead and talk about the role of the in-person blended emerging scholars, since that's the part of the program I'm in now, and actually it's kind of the same role in both circumstances, just sort of acted out in different ways. I'll use you, Palby, as an example here. We've got you assigned to Creative Ties here in room 2. And just keep in mind, these moderator roles may change. We might have to move rooms with you, but if we do, we'll let you know. So I'll use you, Palby, as an example. This session will be in room 2 at 12:35. So the first person, Randall, will speak. So you're the moderator on this session. So what I like to do is identify who the 4 speakers are in that session. Let them know that they'll have 20 minutes each and questions will be at the end. So here you can see the timing over here on the right. we can see that Randall is from 10:35 to 10:55. Then we have Jessen, then we have Yessen, and then we have Paul, and then we have Farid. This session will finish at 12:55. Well, Farid will finish at 12:55, but then we have about 20 minutes for questions at the end. Now, whether you're an in-person emerging scholar or an online only emerging scholar, your real role here is to have an interesting discussion. That's what we want you to do. We want you to meet people, ask questions, form connections between these sessions. So these have all been linked under creative ties for a reason. Palby, you might see these 4 sessions and you might think, oh, well, John said something interesting, in his presentation that linked to Randall's presentation. So then what I like to do is bring them up to all the 4 presenters up to the front and say, Randall, I noticed the connections between yours and John's. Can you both speak to that, please? Could you, another way to do it would be saying, could you each tell me how your presentations linked to this year's special focus? You could ask one question that applies to all the presenters. To take this in the context of the online only presenters, say Ellen is assigned to this session, she would be responsible for watching the digital media for these 3 presentations. And then exactly like Palby's doing in the in-person session, asking questions in the discussion board the same way. And so whether you're in person or online only, your role is really to ask those questions. Form discussion either in the rooms or in the discussion board. Now, if you're an online only emerging scholar, I really do encourage you to start watching that digital media and asking questions on the first day of the conference, or really when the discussion board's open, which would be the 21st. That gives you time, if they respond to you, to also respond back with any other comments that you might have. Sometimes if you leave it too late, you respond in the last few hours of the conference, and then you don't have enough time to watch all the digital media. So I highly recommend that you do that in the first day of the conference. So then there's that. We will have lunch, and then more sessions, and then so it's the same all the way through. There are a couple of sessions that are unusual ones to moderate. That is a workshop. The workshop is 45 minutes, and it's like, unlike a themed paper presentation, it's sort of 45 minutes of interaction. So you wouldn't be there sort of as a role to fuel discussion and get everyone in the audience to ask questions. You would be there more as kind of a participant, and sort of moderating in that way. It's a little bit more informal. The same with the poster session. These 4 posters, they'll be placed on a wall. They have 45 minutes in that session. People come in and no one presents individually. They move around the room and they ask questions to the presenters sort of simultaneously. So your role in that as a moderator of that session would be to just sort of participate and go around individually and ask the poster presenters different questions. And then we have a plenary session in the afternoon, followed by another plenary session in the afternoon, followed by a welcome reception there. On day 2, we're doing a case study day. If you are an in-person blended emerging scholar, I highly recommend you sign up for the case study day. The idea of the case study day is that we're getting out there and looking at the practical nature of what we're talking about in the rooms, in these presentations. So, how are food systems working in New York City? Why are we in New York City? Thinking about these questions about creativity in food and the arts in different ways. So we're doing that on the 24th by going to Randall Island, which is an island just off Manhattan. We're going to talk to the people who run the Billion Oyster Project. We'll be having some lunch, and then we'll be going to an urban farm which is on Randall Island called Grow NYC. We'll be taking the ferry over there together. So if you haven't signed up already, please sign up for that. I might actually stop there for a second, because I feel like I may have gone a little too quickly, forgive me. And maybe we can just open up for any questions. All this was also outlined I sent you all this morning a PDF that talks a little bit more about your role, but I just wanted to show you how it works online in terms of the event schedule. But what we might do is just see if anyone has any questions, and you can let me know.
I do have a question.
Yes,
How do you
go
sign up
ahead.
for the 24th, island?
So you log in, and on the special events tab, I'm going to say that, and now maybe it's not there anymore. It's there. So
Okay.
if you log in, and in the so how am I going to show you? One second. There we are. So you're here on this. This is where we just were, the event schedule here. You click over to special events, and you go down, and it says case study October 24th, and you select one, and then you just select it there.
Perfect. Thank you.
For a second, I was like, oh, maybe I disabled it. A little worried. Does anyone else have another question? Okay. What we do have, I forgot to mention, is if you're actually in the rooms, sometimes people don't stick to the 20 minutes thing, a 20-minute presentation time slot. And that puts you in an uncomfortable position of having to cut people off. So to try and avoid that uncomfortable situation, we actually have signs. So we have a sign that we'll give you that says 5 minutes, 1 minute, end of session. And so what I like to do is before the presenter starts speaking, I let them know that I'm going to show them that 5 minute sign. And then that way it's hard to avoid the fact that the session is coming to an end. So I'll give those to you on the first morning of the conference for those people who are in person. Sometimes we have a bell, but I don't like the bell so much. It seems a little bit more forceful than I'd like. So yeah. Are there any other questions?
Yeah, I recall that there was some sort of requirement for in-person emerging scholars to be there like a day in advance or something.
Yeah,
is that still there, or?
Yeah, so what we have been doing is it's not, I haven't been making it a requirement because of flights and people coming in sometimes, and flight delays lately have just been a little crazy. I like to meet the emerging scholars sort of the afternoon before the conference, just at the venue, just so they know where it is, they know where the rooms are, and they know where they're going. It's really not a long meeting. It's like 10 to 15 minutes where we just walk around the rooms. I just need to confirm this with the people at Marymount to make sure that that's okay, that we're walking around. And I'm meeting them at 3 o'clock that day anyway to test out the technology in the room. So I can't imagine it would be a huge issue. But yeah, I'll send you an email about it if we decide to meet. If not, we'll just meet the first morning of the conference.
Yeah, I think you will need to let at least me know in advance, because I'm on the West Coast, and travels to the East Coast, I need to book flights and arrange accommodation in advance.
Of course.
And those dates will be very important for me
it's typically what we typically the time we make it that we're always aiming for is 4 p.m. on the day before the conference. And if that doesn't work out, we're not going to be like, oh my goodness, I can't believe she couldn't come. We'll just say, no, we'll just see you the first morning of the conference, maybe come 10 minutes, 15 minutes earlier than everyone else before registration, just to make sure that you know where you're going and things like that. Are there any other questions?
I had a quick question. If there is like a technology issue that's unsolvable, would there be someone to call upon?
Yes, so I will be there first of all, and after doing many years of this, I consider myself not too bad at fixing the technology. That being said, sometimes I come across something that I'm flabbergasted. There is a tech person on site to help us. And so what I will do is I'll ask you actually perhaps now, while we've got you here in the chat, just to put your phone numbers, and we'll create a WhatsApp group. And then that means if you message me on site, say, Tamsin, I'm in room 3 and the projector's not working, that means that I'm at the registration desk and I can just let the tech person know and to head there to help you out.
Okay, sounds good.
Kayla, would you mind making a note of people's phone numbers? Yeah, so there's always something. Technology is usually the only issue that we have. People will show up without if people show up with a Mac and they don't have adapters, I have adapters. If people show up with a presentation and they need it on a USB, I have USBs. So I try to I even have international power adapters. I have all the things. So if for some reason there's something like that, they can just come see me at the registration desk and we'll figure it out. These rooms should be pretty well equipped. I think I think that everything's in there that we already need. But yeah, it's usually pretty straightforward. And those parallel session rooms are definitely easier as well because we're not live streaming or zooming them or anything like that. So it's just a standard plug in your computer, plug in your USB and bring it up on the screen. Sometimes there's the only thing is if people have sound, but that's a sort of one-off thing that I can help with as well. I actually have speakers too. So I travel with speakers. So if you need some, let me know. Yeah, so I'll be there to help and we'll all have tech people on board for that as well. Another thing I should mention that if you're an online only emerging scholar and someone has not uploaded digital media, in place of where the digital media should be, there'll actually be a button that says request digital media. And they'll receive an email that says someone wants to see your presentation. And then once they do upload it, you'll then receive an email saying Tamsin Gilbert has uploaded her digital media, so that then you can go ahead and click that link to take you back to that presenter page. People are pretty good about uploading their digital media. There's usually maybe 1 or 2 people who have forgotten or something like that. So it's useful to go ahead and press that button. Any other questions?
I have one more. Sorry.
Yeah,
So
go ahead.
in my workshop, I do have a little bit of a hands-on component. I'm just wondering how many people generally are we expecting?
It's hard to say. We don't ask the people sign up for the sessions themselves beforehand.
Right.
I was just going to check the registration numbers for this one. Let me just have a look to see how many we got on site. I know we have 4 parallel session rooms, and then we have I think around 50-60 people on site. So if we were just going to say distributed equally, we'd say between 12 and 15 people in each room.
Okay.
And then so if you need materials or something, yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Yes.
Katrina, did you want to ask something?
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify, our 20-minute talks, are they meant to include questions and answers, or are you wanting a full 20-minute presentation?
It's 20 minutes. Yeah,
okay.
Full 20-minute presentation, but you're moving to online only, Katrina, so you're going to have to upload digital media now. Yeah, so it's a full 20-minute presentation, 20 minutes, 20 minutes, 20 minutes, and then questions at the end. And typically it works out that the questions are at the end are assigned about 5 minutes per presentation in that section. But there you should avoid, as I would recommend avoiding as much as possible, any questions or discussion between the sessions, because it really means that you never get to next. It's really hard to get to the next, difficult to get to the next presenter. But yeah, 20 minutes. I hope that answers things. All right, everyone. So I am on email. Kayla, you have Kayla's email, you have Jillian's email. So between us, we should be able to cover any other questions that you have over the next week or 2 until we see each other, both online and in person in New York. If you haven't already, please send me your introductory video. We do like to put those in the event schedule so people can learn a little bit more about you. throughout the conference. And feel free to let me know if you have any questions. Nice to meet you all.
Thank you.
Have a good day,
Thank you so
or good
much.
evening, or good morning, wherever you are. Bye.